As a solo Pokemon runner, the Elite Four represents the culmination of my efforts, where I get to find out, did I just waste the last 2 hours of my life? Or are we gonna beat this game on 0 DVs and minimum battles? Now that's gotten me thinking recently, what is the lowest level that I could actually beat the Elite Four at? The original concept for this video was to compare what level I could beat the Elite Four members with just level up moves versus with TM moves. So I asked you guys on the community what you thought was the lowest level a Bulbasaur could beat Bruno with no TMs because he's the easiest member. Well, it turned out that it was about level 41, where we get Sleep Powder. It becomes really consistent at that point. Okay, well, how about with TMs? What level could we beat him then? I beat him at level 5. And then I found a strategy that made it so that I came out with a Pidgey and did the same thing. Wait, is it possible to beat the game with just a level 5 Pokemon? Well, at least for the Elite Four, yes, I did it, and then I found that I didn't record the footage, so I only turned it on there at the end. Well, this is something we need to rectify. So ladies and gentlemen, today, I'm going to be showing you how to beat the Elite Four with a single level 5 Pokemon. For today's run, I'm going to start off by doing it in Pokemon Red and Blue, since that's going to be the easier version, but we can do it in Yellow too. Just wait till next week. So let's break down the rules. First, we need to finish within 2 hours, because if it takes a super long time to beat the game with a level 5 Pokemon, there's no point. Secondly, we can save between Elite Four members. We can use 2 cartridges, meaning that if we wanted to teach a TM move that's only available once per game, we can teach it in a second cartridge, use that move on 1 or 2 of the members, forget it against one of the Elite Four members, and then relearn it by using that TM in our game. Some liberties have to be taken, because if it was that easy to beat the Elite Four with a level 5 Pokemon, this would be completely broken. And J-Rose, Scott's Thoughts, myself, we'd all be out of this game, because what's there to talk about if you can just easily beat the Elite Four with a level 5 Pokemon, right? Well, anyway, let's get into it and find out. So, today, we are going to take our first attempt. Now, before we get into it, I would like you guys to just think for a second. What is the best Pokemon to run in this challenge in Pokemon Red and Blue? Take a couple seconds, just think about it, and comment down in the comment section below. So, hopefully you've posted your answer. Well, if you voted Mewtwo, you're completely wrong. Sorry guys, but Mewtwo probably can do it, but it's not going to be the most easy or consistent run in Pokemon Red and Blue. No, that Pokemon is, of course, Gastly. Gastly? Wait, anybody who knows Gen 1 knows that Gastly is a poison type, and poison types have a really famous soft lock against Lorelei. You see, Lorelei's AI is smart AI in Pokemon Red and Blue, meaning that when she's up against a poison or a fighting type Pokemon, the only move that she's going to use is Rest. And she has infinite PP on Rest, because she thinks it's a psychic type move and it's super effective against us. So how do we beat her with a Gastly? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the most broken strategy in Gen 1, the Confusion plus Bide strategy. You see, Gen 1 has some serious programming flaws, and one of the flaws was that when you use Bide, it's calculating all the damage that your opponent does to determine how much damage to deal back to them. Well, when the opponent hits themselves in confusion, Gen 1 logic says that that was damage dealt by them that we can return twofold with Bide. So, we are able to take down the Dugong with Confuse Ray and Bide. Now, we've got Double Team already set up, it's just a matter of using Toxic, Confuse Ray, and Bide on the rest of Lorelei's Pokemon. This isn't going to be a super fast strategy, but we can see that we're whittling her Pokemon down. here against Slowbro, it thinks that Amnesia is super effective against us because it's a psychic type move, which means that Slowbro will never attack our Gastly. Jinx is the next Pokemon that can attack us, but because we've got all of our double teams set up, and because Confuse Ray gives it a 50% chance to hit itself in confusion every turn, we really only take hits 1 in 8 times. Now finally against Lapras, it thinks that Confuse Ray, a ghost type move, is super effective against Gastly, so it's just gonna spam Confuse Ray over and over again. We have beaten the first member of the Elite Four with only a level 5 Pokemon. Let's move on to Bruno. So Bruno's issue is that his Onix knows only one move that can actually hit Gastly. Rock Throw. Rock Throw's not 100% accurate, and his other 3 moves, Screech, Slam, and Rage, all miss us automatically because we're normal type, or Screech, lowering our defense. We're already level 5. What does that do? On top of that, he can use an X defend. So there is a much greater chance that he doesn't hit us every turn than there is that he actually does land a hit. That means that we can get our setup with Double Team and Substitute and then go into our Confusion and Toxic strategy. Bruno is 100% confirmed the worst member of the Elite Four. Now, I could have made this much more consistent by learning Substitute here. Substitute would have given us 1 free hit, basically, from him in order to survive. I decided to just keep my moveset as is for now, though. So here, we've poisoned the first Onix. It's slowly going down. Now, on Hitmonchan, it's more of the same. We're going to confuse it first, because Confusion gives it a 50% chance to hit itself. And then we're going to set up Toxic. Toxic is going to slowly but surely whittle it down, and we're really looking at a 1 in 8 chance of being hit. So now we're going to move on to Hitmonlee. With this, it's the same strategy, but Hitmonlee can't hit us because Hitmonlee only knows physical moves, fighting type moves, and normal type moves that can't affect our Gastly. So we're completely immune here. Next, against the Onix, its only move that can hit us is Rock Throw, and it's not a perfectly accurate move. So we have, again, a greater than 50% chance to get through that. And finally, here on the Machamp. In Red and Blue, it knows Fissure, which could take us out, but it's a very low accuracy move as a one-hit KO move, and we have 6 double teams set up. So we take it down. That's 2 Elite Four members knocked out with a single level 5 Gastly. So now it's on to Agatha. And here against Agatha, the strategy is quite simple. We're going to go back to Confuse Ray and Bide, but then we're also using Double Team and Substitute here. Substitute is very important because it means that when she does hit us, if we happen to be using Bide, we'll be able to deal the damage back to her and KO her Pokemon. It happens right here with the Gilbat. It hits us with Wing Attack, we return the damage and KO it. Now against Gengar, we really are saying it can either hit us and we'll take it out, or it can hit itself in Confusion and we'll gather the damage that way and take it out. So we fail on that attempt. Let's try another one. Here, same strategy. Agatha switches to Golbat. We're going to confuse it, and then we're going to start using Bide, and we're going to deal back the damage and knock it out. Here, we're going to confuse the Gengar, set up our Substitute, start setting up our double teams, and hopefully we can either get it to knock itself out in Confusion, or we can use Bide in order to make that process go faster. So it's just really a matter of getting luck, getting the right ranges here. We knock out the Haunter with the accumulated damage that we had on the Gengar from before. Now let's try this again. Here we're going to try to take out this Gengar. Fortunately, we have 6 double teams set up, so even when it put us to sleep, we didn't get hit. And here it's just a matter of, can we get the luck? There we go. Now against Arbok, we confuse it, and now we are going to go ahead and set up here. We get paralyzed by glare. That's one big problem of Substitute in Gen 1. It doesn't block all status like sleep and paralysis. You can actually still be paralyzed or put to sleep in Gen 1 while you're using a Substitute. That was fixed in Pokemon Stadium. But here we get all the way to the last Gengar. Are we going to be able to get through? No, we get KO'd. But we can see just based off that fight that this is going to be possible. It's just a matter of how long does it take. I'm going to speed up the footage a little bit here because there were a bunch of failed attempts. Agatha is a lottery, guys. But eventually we're going to get back there. How much time is it going to take, though? Well, to put it simply, even sped up at 8 times speed, I ended up having about 7 minutes of footage here of me just failing over and over again against Agatha. But really, a lot of it came down to bad luck. There were a lot of spots where she just wouldn't stay confused for more than one turn, or that she would be confused but wouldn't hit herself in confusion. I had 2 attempts where I got all the way to the last Gengar, only to run out of PP. That's the big luck factor here in this battle, really, is your PP. Because if you have enough PP, if we had infinite PP like the AI does, we would get through this run a heck of a lot faster. Anyway, after struggling here for quite a while to get another good attempt. So let's just see how much longer it takes here. We're already getting up into the 19-minute range, and at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut the footage and just jump ahead so that we can get back to the proper action. So here, at 1 hour and 7 minutes, we're finally back in this fight where we have a good run. Here, we get confusion off on the Gengar. Okay, she switches to Golbat, but we're just going to confuse it and then go into Bide, and hopefully it will either knock itself out or it hits us, so we get to knock it out. Perfect. We're going to set up another Substitute, go into Bide. We just want her to keep hitting herself in confusion, and hopefully we can take her down. So we take a Nightshade, that's fine. We're going to confuse her again, go into our Bide. She hits herself. There we go. We've taken out the first Gengar. We're going to confuse the Haunter. Hopefully it hits itself 2 times. Perfect. We take it out. Now against Arbok, we confuse it into Bide. Hopefully it hits itself. There we go. We've taken that one out. Now the last Gengar. We have a Substitute. We're using Bide. We just need to get the luck. Okay, we almost got it down. She uses a Super Potion. Now we take Nightshade, but she hits herself in confusion and we're able to knock her out. There we go. 3 Elite Four members done. We've used up about half of our time. If Lance and the Champion are really hard, we're not going to finish this, but let's find out if that is in fact the case. So, moving on to Lance. Here's what we really need to happen here. I'm going to start off by trying to use the same Confuse Ray Bide strategy, because it seems to me like this is a reasonable spot to try that. Lance's fight is going to be a bit luck-based because the Gyarados can hit us. The Gyarados is going to use Hydro Pump, which is a guaranteed one-hit KO. But the benefit is that Hydro Pump is not 100% accurate. That is the key, because if we can get a Hydro Pump miss and confuse the Gyarados, we have a decent chance of getting through this fight. And the best part is that because of our Ghost typing, our Ghost and Poison typing, the 2 Dragonairs will only use Agility against us. And Aerodactyl in Pokemon Red and Blue only knows normal type attacking moves, so it can never hit us. Finally, the last Dragonite only knows Barrier and Agility, so once we get through this Gyarados, I'm thinking it's going to be smooth sailing to the end. Here, Lance uses a Hyper Potion, But we knock out the Gyarados, so now we're just using Confuse Ray and Bide to try to get through the Dragonair here. Let's see how this goes, okay? We're whittling it down, and we take out the first Dragonair. Let's try the second Dragonair, Confuse Ray into Bide, and we take it down. Now Aerodactyl cannot hit us, but we're going to use Confuse Ray into Bide. Unfortunately, it snaps out of confusion immediately. We're running low on PP again. So hopefully we're able to get through on this one. Here, we're just waiting for it to hit itself in confusion. And there we go. We've gotten through. Now Dragonite. Can we take down the Dragonite with confusion and Bide? We're getting it fairly low. It uses Barrier, which raises its defense. It's doing less damage to itself. And we're really low on PP. Can we get this? We have one more Confuse Ray, one more Bide. Is this going to work? It hits itself in confusion. We release the damage, but it just holds on. No! This is so close to being able to get through. And if we use some PP ups here, we probably could get through with this strategy. But it's at this point that I realize there's a much better strategy. Like I said in the intro, we can use 2 cartridges, which means that we can have our Gastly come in knowing Toxic, but also relearn Toxic at this point. If we do that, this becomes incredibly trivial. We just relearn Toxic, and now we have a guaranteed way to take out Lance's Pokemon. Because once we get into the fight, and once we get through the Gyarados, it will now be a guaranteed win against the rest of his Pokemon. So here, we're just waiting for the luck to be able to get through Gyarados. If we can get through Gyarados, we're going to be just fine to get through the rest of his team. Let's see. Lance can only use Hydro Pump or Dragon Rage here. It's a 50% chance he uses Hydro Pump, and then Hydro Pump has a 1 in 5 chance to miss. So really it's a 1 in 10 chance to get the luck where he misses us, and then we are able to set up. That's basically the same as getting a freeze or poison off on most Pokemon, so it's really not that luck-based when you think about it. We are level 5 after all. Let's see how long this takes. So here we're setting up on the Gyarados, we've gotten it confused, we managed to set up a substitute, so we're probably getting through this fight at this point. We just need to get some luck. Here, we set up another substitute. Now, Toxic, can we take it down? We are getting low on HP, but Gyarados knocks itself out, and now we have a guaranteed win. Pokemon Red and Blue is so incredibly broken and so incredibly easy because of these flaws in the AI. And it's really one of the reasons why I chose Pokemon Yellow to do my runs instead of Pokemon Red and Blue. Because when we get to Lance, when we have a poison or fighting type Pokemon, we basically have a guaranteed win. He's never going to use strong moves against us with his Dragonair or his Dragonite. Contrast that with Pokemon Yellow, where these Pokemon know moves like Blizzard, Thunderbolt, Hyper Beam, and they use much better AI. This would not be possible to do it this easily, at least, in Pokemon Yellow version. So here, we are whittling down the last Dragonite. All we need to do is knock it out. Here it goes, and he uses a Hyper Potion, but it doesn't matter. Toxic takes him down. So, that leaves one challenge remaining, which is, of course, the champion. So we need to restore our PP and heal up, and then it's just a matter of, can we beat the Pokemon Red champion at this point in the game? Well, this is where it gets a little complicated yet again. You see, the first Pokemon is perfectly easy. When we're up against his Pidgeot is very likely to use Mirror Move or Sky Attack, both of which at least give us one turn to not get hit, and we can start setting up Double Team. After we set up all of our Double Teams and our substitute, we are able to then use Toxic to take this Pidgeot down. It's going to take a few turns. We're going to keep confusing it just so that we reduce the number of hits that we take. Anytime we have that 50% chance for the opponent to hit themselves in confusion, it's only going to make ourselves less likely to lose. Now here against Alakazam, we do take a hit, but we have plenty of HP to get another substitute up, go into Toxic, and then it's just a matter of whittling it down. We take another Psychic. Okay, we have enough HP for one more substitute. Let's see if it's enough to get through this. We whittle it down. Now, Rhydon, in Pokemon Red and Blue, only knows normal type moves. It cannot hit a Gastly, meaning that once we get to this Rhydon, that's an easy KO. Now, we get hit by Ember from the Arcanine, but we do poison it. If we can just whittle it down, we're just hoping that Confuse Ray and Double Team is enough to be able to get through. We get through. Exeggutor is another Pokemon that's completely broken here. It's only going to use Hypnosis because Hypnosis is Psychic type, and the AI thinks that Psychic type moves are super effective against Gastly, so it goes down. We're all the way to Blastoise. Can we take this one down? Here, we confuse it. We get Toxic. We're trying to keep it confused, but we take a lucky Hydro Pump. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but let's try this one again. So here, just a couple attempts later, we're back to the Pidgeot, where we're doing the same thing. We're setting up Double Team, then we're going to set up our substitute, Confuse Ray, and of course, Toxic. Now you generally want to use Confuse Ray turn 1 because it gives a 50% chance that the opponent won't hit you, whereas setting up one Double Team only lowers their accuracy by 34%. So you're always better off setting up Confuse Ray turn 1 and then going into Double Team rather than setting up Double Team turn 1. We take down the Pidgeot, now we're on to Alakazam. We've poisoned it, and hopefully we don't take 2 hits from it like we did last time. We got through with 10 HP still remaining. That's awesome. We can make 2 more substitutes at this point. Rhydon, we know, is going to be no trouble because it can't hit us. Let's get to Arcanine. Can we get through the Arcanine without losing our substitutes? We poison it, and it hits us one time. Okay, we're going to set up another substitute. Please don't hit us again. We get through with enough HP for one more substitute against the Exeggutor. Exeggutor is only going to use Hypnosis. That's perfectly fine with us. We're going to just take it down. Now, Blastoise. We still have enough HP for one more substitute. We're at 1 hour and 33 minutes, but if we can get through this, this is going to be amazing. Here, we confuse it. It hits itself in confusion, and there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you beat the Elite Four with a single level 5 Pokemon. Is it luck-based? Yes, of course. Does it require moves like Double Team? Yeah, obviously. You're not going to beat the Elite Four with a level 5 Pokemon just playing with the normal meta moves. But the fact that this is possible is so incredible that it tells you that really any Pokemon that learns TMs is capable of this. Think about that. Double Team can be learned by any Pokemon that learns TMs. Substitute can be learned by any Pokemon that learns TMs. Toxic can be learned by any Pokemon that learns TMs. Bite can be learned by any Pokemon that learns TMs. Confuse Ray, funny enough, where we really needed it against Agatha, you could just learn Mimic, which is available to every Pokemon that learns TMs. Mimic Confuse Ray from Agatha's Gengar, and then use that to help you get through. So, really, any Pokemon that can get through Lorelei is going to have a chance to beat the entire game at level 5 in Pokemon Red and Blue. Now that's not going to be the case in Pokemon Yellow. I'm going to come back with a separate run of that next week because we're going to show that Gastly actually fails in that run for a very important reason, and that there is another type of Pokemon that does much better in that challenge. But with that being done, We have completed this challenge today. We are the first ones to ever post on YouTube a level 5 solo challenge that does not involve save states in the middle of battle, that does not involve any sort of hacking of the device, purely just using the broken mechanics of Gen 1 in order to get through this challenge. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is going to be the start of a brand new series where I really want to focus in on the Elite Four. First, I'm going to show you how to beat the Elite Four at level 5. After that, what I want to start doing is looking at individual Pokemon without TMs and see what level they're able to get through. Really, what Pokemon can beat the Elite Four at lower than minimum battles level, and which Pokemon need a lot of help to get through that challenge. I think it's going to be incredibly interesting. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Anyway, like and subscribe, watch a couple of my other videos popping up on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Later.